Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Vijay Diwas is celebrated on December 16th every year to honor the victory of Indian armed forces over Pakistan in the 1971 war. On that day, India pays homage to all the soldiers who defended the nation. Okay, before we talk about Sam MANEKSHAW, we have to know a little bit of history of Bangladesh. This will give a clearer picture of 1971 India-Pakistan war and how the greatest and the first Field Marshal of India meticulously planned, flawlessly executed and won the war in a very precise manner. India won the war and Pakistan surrendered. The country that is now Bangladesh was part of Bengal region of India for centuries. It was ruled by same empires that ruled central India. The Mauryas ruled from 321 BC, that is about 2300 years ago. Then the Mughals ruled from 1526 AD. Then the British took control of the region and created their Raj in India. That period was from 1858 to 1947. Bangladesh was at that time part of India. The British were talking and negotiating about various aspects surrounding independence and the partition of British India. At that time, the predominantly Muslim Bangladesh was separated from majority Hindu India. In 1940, Lahore Resolution Muslim League kept a demand. It was that the majority Muslim sections of the Punjab and Bengal would be included in Muslim states. They were against it remaining with India. After communal violence broke out in India, some politicians suggested that a unified Bengali state would be a better solution. This idea was vetoed by the Indian National Congress led by Mahatma Gandhi.
At the end, when British India gained its independence in August 1947, the Muslim section of Bengal became a new nation of Pakistan. That part was called East Pakistan. East Pakistan was in an odd position. It was separated geographically from proper West Pakistan by a 1,600 km stretch of India. It was also divided from the main body of Pakistan by ethnicity and language. Pakistanis are primarily Punjabi and Pashtun, whereas the East Pakistanis were Bengalis. In the parliamentary elections of 1970, East Pakistan separatist Awami League won every single seat allocated to the East. Talks between the two Pakistans failed. Then in 1971, Sheikh Mujibar Rahman declared Bangladeshi independence from Pakistan. The Pakistani Army declared war and sent military to fight to stop the separation. But India sent troops to support the Bangladeshis. On 11th January 1972, Bangladesh became an independent parliamentary democracy. When India sent its troops to fight against Pakistan, it was masterminded by the greatest chief of the army staff of Indian Army. He was Sam MANEKSHAW. He was also called Sam Bahadur. That is Sam the Brave. He was the chief of the army staff of the Indian Army during the Indo-Pakistani War of 1971. He was also the first Indian Army officer to be promoted to the rank of Field Marshal. His active military career spanned 4 decades and 5 wars. Yes. For 40 years he served in military and participated in 5 wars and lived. He began his army service in the British Indian Army in World War II. Field Marshal Sam led the Indian Army in the 1971 war. The Pakistan Army was brought to its knees in a matter of just 13 days. When the war ended, nearly 93,000 Pakistani soldiers and government officials surrendered to India. He was an officer and a thorough gentleman. His daughter proudly spoke about how her father ensured there were no human rights violations from the Indian side. It was a huge army from both sides that were fighting. And Indians crushed the Pakistanis. But Manekshaw was a different breed altogether. He treated even the Pakistani soldiers who had surrendered in a nice manner. There was an interesting but a horrible event happened to Manekshaw during the World War II. There was a fierce fighting going around Pagoda Hill. It was a key position that had to be held for tactical and strategic reasons. He led his company in a counterattack against the invading Imperial Japanese army.
His company suffered 50% casualties, but his company managed to achieve its objective. This was largely due to the excellent leadership of the then Captain Manekshaw. After capturing the hill, Manekshaw was hit by multiple bullets from a burst of light machine gun fire. He was severely wounded in the stomach. Major General David Cowan, the commander of the division, was observing the battle. He spotted Manekshaw on the verge of death. He had also witnessed his bravery and valor in the face of stiff resistance. He rushed towards him and he was seeing the wounds and the amount of blood. He thought that Manekshaw would die. During battle times, you hear hundreds of thousands of heroic things, and you also hear about gallant gestures of officers and soldiers, alive or dead. The General David Cowan had won a military cross ribbon for his own bravery in the war, but the general immediately supported Manekshaw in his hands and pinned his own military cross ribbon on him. He said to Manekshaw that a dead person cannot be awarded a military cross. So I am awarding this for your bravery. You deserve it more than anything else. The military cross is the second level military decoration awarded to officers before 1993. The military cross is granted in recognition of acts of exemplary courage and bravery during war against the enemy on land to all members of British armed forces of any rank. This award to Sam Manekshaw was made official with the publication of notification in the London Gazette on 21st April 1942. Manekshaw was brave and also had a very good sense of humor. This is another true incident about him. After he was wounded, he was evacuated from the battlefield by Sher Singh, his orderly. Orderlies are sort of assistants to officers. This is a British Army tradition. He then took him to an Australian surgeon. The surgeon looked once at Manekshaw and refused to treat him because he thought that Manekshaw would anyway die. But Singh forced him to treat Manekshaw. Manekshaw regained consciousness and the surgeon asked him what had happened to him. Manekshaw replied that he was kicked by a donkey. Impressed by Manekshaw's sense of humor, he treated him. He removed 7 bullets from lungs, liver and kidneys. Much of his intestines were also removed. Let's end the part 1 of video here. Thanks for watching the video till the end. Please like, comment, subscribe and most importantly share it widely among your friends and family. Thanks once again. Take care. Bye bye.